Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to the 2020 Worldwide High School Graduation Commencement Speech. My name is Chris Stewart. I'm the world's #1 hope dealer. And you know what? This is what's going on, you guys. Is this crazy or what? You know, here we are at this time of graduation and I'm here in my office instead of being on the stages in a lot of your schools and giving you this inspirational commencement speech. And it's just crazy, and I had to make this video because I want you all to know we appreciate you. I want you all to know that even though this is tough, I mean, how hard is it? I can't imagine what you guys are going through right now. It's like you get to the end of your academic career as children, right? Like you're about to move into a new season of becoming adults, right? And going off to colleges or going into a career or something like that. And it's like you do all the right things, you put in all this hard work, and you get to the end, and it's like it just gets canceled. That's got to be so frustrating, right? And that's why I wanted to make this video, because I wanted you to understand a few things before you move into your next season. And we have a lot in common, maybe not in that realm, but I never got to go to my high school graduation either. And the other things too that we look forward to, right? It's like you get all the way to the end of your senior year and there's supposed to be these proms and you're going to Disneyland or Disney World or some kind of adventure, and then there's graduation, and maybe your parents had something special planned, or you're going to take a special trip, or what about even going and visiting colleges, right? Like all the stuff you guys were supposed to do by going and visiting colleges or doing all these special things that you've looked forward to for a long time, and then all of a sudden it's not there. And it doesn't seem right. And I wanted just to talk about that today and let you know that, for one, we appreciate you. And when I say we, I'm speaking for everybody. I'm speaking for all the parents. I'm speaking for the coaches. I'm speaking for the teachers. I'm speaking for the grandparents. I'm speaking for all the people that have supported you in this journey, right? And I want you to know that I see you and I hear you and I appreciate you just the way you are. And we're not going to forget about you. I wanted to deliver this speech today because you deserve to be acknowledged for all of your hard work. You deserve to be acknowledged for all the things that you have put in, all the sacrifices you have made, all the long nights studying, all the things that you have given up in order to get good grades, or all the things that you have done in order to get this far in your lives. For me, I didn't get to go to my graduation either. And I want to kind of share some of that story with you today on how we can take some of this anger and this sadness and this frustration and process it and get rid of it. Because a lot of us, we were given some really, some misinformation when we were young. And we were told that being sad or being angry wasn't acceptable, right? It's like, oh, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. And, it's okay to cry. When you're sad, it's okay to cry. And I don't care if you're, a boy or a girl, a man or a woman, whatever that is. It's okay to cry. And the same with being angry. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. What's not okay is to hold on to it and continue to be angry or sad. But you can express it and get rid of it. That's okay. That's a normal emotional response. And not only am I a motivational public speaker, but I'm also a counselor. So I work with tens of thousands of high school young adults every year, right? And some of you are going to see this video and what's up? Good to see you. And some of you that are going to see this video, you don't know me yet. It's my hope that one day I get to meet you. It's that one day my hope is that I get to speak somewhere where you get to hear me, or even I get to come to your school, maybe, like they're talking about rescheduling some of these graduations. But for a lot of you, that's not going to make sense because you're already moving on. Right? You're going to have jobs and you're going to be moving to your new places and things like that. And it might not coincide with your dates. And I want to make sure that you get acknowledged as well. When I was 15 years old, my father, he came to me and he said, Chris, me and your mother, we've been very tolerant of your hair and your music choices. But, we're missionaries and we're moving to Europe to be missionaries. And so, we want you to get your hair cut and start listening to more appropriate music and dressing more appropriately. At the time, I had a mohawk and I thought I was going to be a pro skater or a rock star, right? That's what I wanted to be. So, I listened to punk rock and heavy metal and things like that. And he said, so this is what's going to happen. If that's a problem for you, then you're free to find your own way. And what I heard was, A, Christians couldn't have cool hair. B, that my dad cared more about what his friends thought about my outward appearance than he actually loved or supported me. And C, if I didn't like it, that I was free to, go out on my own. So I thought about it for a couple of days, and I said, you know what? I don't want to be a missionary. I don't want to be, part of this family. I want to do my own thing. So I left home. Now, what I didn't realize is that when I left home, that I was leaving with a big resentment against my father. And also the fact that I was leaving with a really low self-esteem. And I was heading on to where you guys are heading on to, right? Which is what I call the hero's journey, right? You guys are starting like your life as adults. It's called the hero's journey, where you're going to go through a lot of different challenges in your life now to get to your next phase, right? And then the next phase and the next phase. And when I started out on my hero's journey, I started out with anger and with sadness and with resentment against my parents for not appreciating me the way that I am. And that's another reason why I really wanted to do this video for you guys and acknowledge you just for the way you are. And what happened for me is that I got involved with the people who would accept me, which were, a lot of gangs. And then I got into drugs and alcohol. And, and the reason I got into that was because I was so angry and sad that I used that as my emotional coping mechanisms. And it turned out I made a lot of really bad decisions that really negatively impacted not only my life, but the lives of everybody that came in contact with me, right? And for a long time in my life, I made a lot of mistakes. And like I said, I hurt a lot of people, but I also never got to understand what my gifts were and the potential that I had in life. I never got to fulfill on my hero's journey for a long, long time. And I don't want that to happen to you, right? It would be irresponsible of me as a counselor to come back and have this speech and not warn you guys or not tell you guys what can happen if you don't process this anger and this frustration. Because we all get it, right? And you guys are going to get it again and again and again. And I want to give you some coping mechanisms and things to deal with. So when you get there, you understand no matter what happens that you're okay, right? And it's like when you get to college, there's a big, promotion to party and have a good time. And I want you guys to have a good time there. But you also have to be careful that if you are angry or sad and you start using drugs or alcohol as your emotional coping mechanisms, it could lead to some very bad choices for you guys. So, I just ask you to be very careful of that. The same thing with the relationships. You guys are heading out into a world where you're going to be in adult relationships now. And I don't want you to get into any relationships that devalue you, that dishonor you in any way, shape, or form. Please hear me when I say that. Do not let anybody ever validate you in order for you to feel okay about yourself. You are perfect just the way that you are. So for me, what happened is I had a lifetime of really bad decisions and a lot of tragedies and some really bad things happened to me. I was homeless for a while and I got just different things that we don't need to get into. But, finally I had enough and I couldn't take it anymore. And I needed some help. And I just said this like, dear God, please help me one day, right? And I don't know exactly what happened, but something happened. Because see, when I could have quit using drugs, I didn't want to quit. And when I wanted to quit, I couldn't quit. But what happened for me was that I was able to turn my life around and I got some support from some people. And some people finally started to believe in me again until I could believe in myself. And what happened for me is it's just crazy to see. But, one year for Christmas, I wasn't near my family and I didn't have very much money and anything. But I said, you know what, I want to do something for somebody else. So what I did is I went to the 99-cent store and I bought a bunch of cookie dough and I made Christmas cookies and I went and I passed them out in the neighborhood I lived in San Diego, California. And I went up to each person. I said, listen, man, here are some Christmas cookies. Merry Christmas. I just want you to know that somebody cares about you. And somebody who's been through what you've been through in a different way, not your exact circumstances, but similar, cares about you. And I want you never to give up. And it's the same thing I'm telling you guys. See, because what happened is from that simple little gesture where I passed out like 25 little bags of cookies to homeless people on that Christmas Eve back in 2010, right? It grew. And within 3 years, I had a company called Buns and Roses. And I did cakes and cookies. And 3 years later for Christmas, I passed out over 150 bags of cookies to homeless people. And I told them the same thing. Don't ever give up. I've been where you're at. You can do anything you believe in, which you can. And then that company turned into me going around, and I used it as a program to help at-risk teenagers, right, that needed kind of like some support, right, a helping hand to get back on their feet. And that turned into me speaking in high schools and in middle schools and at churches and at recovery groups. And anywhere people would listen, I would share my story of tragedy to triumph, And then that led to a book, right? So then I wrote a book. I wrote a book with a GED, right? Anything's possible, you guys. Anything is possible. And then that led from that into me going back to school and actually getting my degree as a counselor. And now I work as a counselor and a speaker and an author and all these things. And I want you just to know that if I can do it, you can do it. We need you, right? And when I say we, I mean the world. You guys are so creative. You are so intelligent. You guys are so artistic. The class of 2020, more than any other class ever, has got a resilience and a passion and a courage to help other people. I've seen it. I've seen all your posts. I've been in schools. I've seen the projects you guys are up to. So I want you to keep your eye on the vision. I know it sucks that you guys don't get to go to prom. And I know it sucks that a lot of you aren't going to go to graduation and be acknowledged, and that a lot of your trips and things like that have been canceled. But I'm telling you, it won't change your life unless you let it. Acknowledge it. Acknowledge that it's not what's right and it's not what you expected. But a true definition of integrity and of character, which you all have, is not what happens to you, but it's how you react to it. Sometimes you can just scream into a pillow and get rid of that anger. Right? For 15 seconds. I use it as a therapy all the time. Obviously, let your parents know so they don't think that you're going crazy. But that's something you can do. I want us all to band together. This is my call to action. I want us all to band together. Every high school in the country, and pick a day and go out on our balconies or on our front porches, whatever socially distancing acceptable, and just yell, congratulations, for all the other high school graduates as well. If we can do it for first responders and nurses, we can do it for our kids. For you guys, this is what I want. I want all the teachers to band together, the coaches, the parents, the grandparents, the kids, all the young adults, everybody. Let's all get together and pick a day and do this together. That scream will be heard around the world, and we will let people know we have accomplished a goal. We will celebrate and praise you for all of your accomplishments. It might not be like what you wanted, but it will definitely be something that nobody will ever forget. That's the key. Look in my eyes here. This is somebody who's been through a lot in their life. But no matter what I've been through, I've always gotten back up. And I want to tell you guys that I want the same for you. You'll notice on my little sign here, congrats class of 2020, I put the word fearless. I want you to put that word in your heart, fearless, because you guys are going out from here to do amazing things. If I can crawl out of the bushes of Hollywood, California, if I can overcome addiction, if I can overcome all the tragedies that I've had in my life, I know you can too. And there's people that need your help. This is a tougher time than any, where people are going through some things, and you guys are the future. You're the future of our country, of our nation, of the world. You are it. Congratulations, class of 2020. All respect to you. You guys are amazing, amazing young adults, and we could not be more proud of you. Put this in your heart. We appreciate you in every single way. I hope to see you guys out on the road at some point in my life, and if I do, please come up and tell me you saw this video, and I'd love to give you a big old hug. All right, listen, class of 2020, congratulations. Raise your hands in the air no matter where you are and celebrate yourself for a job well done. You guys are amazing. Take care.